Welcome to Deal Shredders. We are your hosts, David and Greg.
We are local Nashville investors, cash buyers, and real estate agents who love to analyze your deals. In this week's Deal Shredders episode, Luciana Aliaga talks about how she seasoned her apartment and commercial building and raised the cap rate into its own self-sustaining asset. Tune in to hear about all the details.
So it looks like we're live, guys. Welcome to Deal Shredders episode 3. We're really excited today. As you can see, I am here, yours truly, without our lovely partner, David Morgan, who is out probably making money somewhere else and, has better things to do. But we'll see him next time. We are here today. I'm really excited about this one. We're here with Luciana Aliaga.
Very good.
Yes. Who I've actually kind of known for a couple of years now. You were like one of the first people when I got into real estate that I got connected with.
Yeah.
Probably through wholesalers or for whatever reason. And
it's a small world out there.
Yeah. I've watched your business grow. I know you. I've seen that you have your Kingdom Homes, or you have some new construction. I know you've been getting into some rentals and commercials. So, I'm excited to hear, about how you've done all that. So tell us a little bit about like your business and your model and like what you do as far as real estate investing goes.
Yeah, sure. So I actually started in 2013 is when my business came afloat. And to be completely honest, and this is probably going to be very random for a lot of our listeners, and maybe for you too, but honestly, I would not be here right now if it wasn't for the Lord. I give him all the glory. And my business was funded on Matthew 6:33, which is seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. And I remember in 2013, when I got ready to quit my job, I said, Lord, if this is your will, I'm going to go ahead and put you first. And then out of that, it's been one thing after another where he has doubled and multiplied my business and just allowed me to get involved in every area. Where it first started was, buying my first single family home and renting it out and doing that whole thing. And then it started with flipping houses and doing that aspect of it, which was so much fun. And then I got into new construction and building new stuff and everything. And so now I've been able to tap into the multifamily and the commercial aspect of real estate, which I believe it's my favorite. I mean, you can attest to this because you've got some stuff. And I really, really like just the multifamily and the long passive income. And so, which is what sustains our business when we're trying to go and flip stuff and all that.
So are you still doing flips and new builds?
I am, yes, okay. I definitely am. And I recently split my company up. And it's Kingdom Homes right now is basically taking control of everything that is long-term, multifamily, passive income, stuff like that. And then I started another company with my partner, Royal 31, and we do flips there. Okay. And so God's really been doing a lot in my business and in my life, and I give him all the glory for that. And so my model, I'm a very analytical type of person. So I like to look at the numbers, and I like to look and feel, what is going on in a market per se. Where I can talk to the owners, talk to the tenants and look at the property and do some sort of analysis on, hey, is this a good deal or not a good deal? And, go from there.
Okay.
And so
is there anything specific that you look for? So let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
As far as your rentals go, do you meet all your new tenants, or do you have a property manager that works with that side of it?
Yeah, so I like to have my own analysis. So I will go and meet the tenants myself, sometimes with the property manager, which I like to do. That way, it's two of us and we both can share opinions and talk to the tenants. And then the tenants can get to know their new property manager and establish that relationship as well. Because the whole point here is to create a self-sustaining asset. And to being able to have this apartment building operate as its own entity. And so you get into a property and you look at what it's lacking, you look at what the previous owner did that perhaps was not the best thing, or you can get more value out of by doing something different.
So you're looking at the value add, where you can raise rents, where expenses, you're probably leaking here and there.
Right.
You know, bad techniques that the property manager use, you know, in the property that you could actually fix.
Definitely.
Sometimes you look for ways to change utilities or RAM and stuff like that. Sometimes, you know,
cable, for instance. This owner who I bought this one building from, he was paying for internet, for cable, for a lot of different things that normally a landlord does not provide.
Right.
And so right there, and this is why it's important to talk to the owner, talk to the realtor, talk to the tenants, and just see what exactly it is that they're paying or not paying. And so in doing that, you know, I was able to gather, okay, well, that's going to be deducted. And so my actual income, suggested income, rental income will be higher versus what he's telling me.
Sure, and that's a value add, a cap or whatever.
Definitely.
Just in that. Okay,
Yeah.
so, you know, we're all kind of excited to hear like the breakdown of like this apartment building. Can we start with the acquisition? How did you do the marketing to get that property?
Okay, so first of all, I think in real estate, you almost always have to be looking constantly, you know, and sometimes the deals will be brought to you because timing is everything.
Sure.
And so with this particular property, I was in LoopNet and found it through there, and then went into the process of talking to the owner. He happened to be the realtor as well.
Okay, so it's a licensed investor basically is selling his property on the market on LoopNet. So okay, tell us about that. How long was it on the market? How much was it listed for?
It was on the market for about it was priced at $390, and it was there for a while. I think it just, again, timing is so important. You know, you almost have to be led of when you are looking at something and when you just start negotiating. So when I saw this property, I mean, he was just about done, and just about, you know, you gotta fish for that motivated seller,
of course.
You know. And so he was kind of just at it, and he wanted to just get rid of it. And I think he was going through a divorce at the time, and just wanted to, you know, not have anything to do with that property anymore. And so I met with him, and I went to the property, and it was a great property over by 20 miles from Columbia. Okay. We all know that area is great. And so after visiting the property, I saw a lot of potential where I could potentially, like you said, increase the rents. And talking to the different tenants, and the fact that they allowed pets and there was no pet fee, you know, different things that you can start adding up, you know, and it could be a benefit and a value add to you. And so I met with him there, and I looked at the property, and I thought, wow, this has potential. Now,
did he manage it himself?
He did, yeah, he did manage it himself. And I saw a lot of things that could be changed, which is a good thing. You know, everybody has their own way of doing things. And, you know, he wanted to get rid of that asset for whatever reason.
All right, so give me a little perspective. He's asking $390. How many doors was it?
So there were, so it was 8 units.
Okay. All
right. One of the units in front of it is a commercial building. And so with that.
So 8 in an additional building on top of that.
8 total.
Got it.
Yeah. And so with that unit, he wasn't renting it out. I believe at that time it was vacant. It was a lot. Oh. There was a lot of money left on the table.
So how is there a commercial piece attached to a residential piece?
So it's a big lot, and so you drive into the driveway, and you have the commercial building in the front, and then you drive behind it. There's like a garage, a carport.
So it's not attached.
Right, no, not attached. But it's an interesting.
How big is the commercial piece of it?
It's probably about 1,000 to 2,000 square feet, including the garage and everything like that.
Okay.
2,000, 2,400 around there. Yeah. But here's the thing about this area, which I found really interesting, because when I first bought the building, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Half of the lot is basically this commercial building. So I thought, man, I'll tear that thing down and start building, you know, more townhomes.
Sure.
Like the ones in the back, because the townhomes in the back generate about $850 a month.
Okay.
More or less, $850, $875. And it's great income, and there's a little bit of turnover just because of the area, and, you know, just to find a loyal tenant, is, you know, a little difficult in that area, I believe. But nonetheless, it's always rented. I mean, it's so quick to get someone in there. And so anyway, so $850 a month for these units, and then having this tremendous commercial building takes up more than half the space. You know, it's like, okay, and that is only bringing in $1,000, just $1,000, which I think if somebody buys it, or you know, the next step for this could very much be either dividing up that commercial building and just, you know, charging a little bit more for each separate segment, you know, right, or tearing it down altogether, which I have wanted to do, and build some more townhomes in place of that commercial building. Because if you think about it, 2,400 square feet bringing in $1,000 versus a 900 square foot townhome bringing in $850, which you can probably fit maybe, you know, 10 or 12 in that
that little part of land
that has the commercial.
Okay.
So that was my thought initially, you know, but then I started just doing some numbers and thinking, okay, well, if I put that and invest that, now somebody else can go in there and say, oh, this is jeans, I'll do it myself, or I'm a builder and I'll go and I'll do it, you know. But at that particular time for me, it was a lot of money to put down to build this whole new, you know, area of brand new townhomes, and then just having that thought of, well, an investor will then come and look at this and say, okay, what will this be worth after putting that type of value add into that area, you know? And so at that time for me, it just didn't make all that much sense because it was cash flowing really well. So it's like, if it's not broken, why fix it?
Right.
You know what I mean? But anyway, so that was the so that was making $1,000. All the units were making around $850, except one which was like an efficiency, and that is now making about $650. So total.
It was fully occupied.
Yeah, well, not when I bought it. No, when I bought it, the guy was he was charging cable, or was paying for their cable, and was and had like 2 vacancies or something like that. But you know what? It didn't matter because I went in there and had to evict everybody.
Sure. Okay. Got it. Okay.
So because a lot of people with false hope, you know, they're like, well, you know, they're supposed to be paying my utilities. They're supposed to be paying my cable. They're supposed to be doing this and that and this and, you know, and all these things that they get promised to on the front end, and then, you know, come to find out the building is sold and I'm the new owner. And so a lot of people just, you know, reacted the way they did and went ahead and left, and some had to be forced out. So once I took ownership, I probably evicted about 4 tenants, so I was left with 50% vacancy. And yeah, and so after that, you know, just getting the new tenants in and abiding by the new rules.
So tell me a little bit about the negotiation and the contract process when you were working with the seller.
Yeah.
So it was listed at $390. Did you put an offer in at $390? What kind of contingencies would somebody expect to have on something like this?
I think he started at like $430 or $450. I'm a negotiator. I was like, you make money where you buy low. So that's always been my key. Low and buy low so that you can, you know, make your margins work. And so typically, now on that deal, I was working with a realtor at the time, and he negotiated hard, and you know.
So you didn't make the offer yourself, you had an agent.
Sure. Yeah.
Was it a commercial agent or residential agent?
Residential.
Okay.
Which normally after having done that and after, you know, being involved in this, I would rather, and that's just me, because I you know, everybody has their own way. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's good, but I like to have that contact because it makes it a lot more personable and it gives you a better deal if you know how to talk, you know, work with people and talk to people. But what I would typically do is send an LOI, a letter of intent, and describe what I'm trying to do with the property and the terms that I would like to offer to the seller.
So that's before you actually put a formal offer. You're like, hey, I just want to throw by you right now. This is my plan. Are we close where we can actually start negotiations?
Yes.
Do you put your offer price in the LOI?
Yep, I sure do.
So,
and here's the thing too, which
I almost like, so what the point of that is to set expectations. Well, why would you not just send it an offer? What is the difference?
Well, I think it's more personal, that your letter of intent, and it's just well, I'm not a realtor, first of all, I'm just an investor. And so it's good to have a template of some sort that you're able to to send to an owner who can potentially work with you in different financing options, not just, hey, we're doing a conventional, or hey, we're doing cash, here's the deal, here's the offer. So I like to do a little bit more of creativity in my financing, where I can buy a lot more buildings and not have to put in a lot of cash into it.
Now, do you make suggestions to the seller, like, hey, like, here's an option, like, you can owner finance X and I can do X, or I can cash out in this? Or do you just kind of like want to see where their head's at first?
So I usually talk to them on the phone and tell them what I'm trying to do, and then present 3 LOIs, letter of intent with an offer. For example, have maybe getting the mortgage, and having them carry back the down payment. And I'll offer them that just as an option, so that my cash flow, so that nothing is really coming out of pocket on my end, because the bank is lending me the amount and then they're carrying back the down payment. So at the end of the day, the income that the building makes is paying the bank's note and the seller's my down payment, which the seller is carrying back.
Okay, so the seller is going to owner finance you the amount of the down payment,
correct,
and the bank is going to carry the rest.
Sure, yeah.
So what's the advantage and disadvantage for a seller to want to do that?
Well, I mean, I guess their story depends really on their circumstance,
So his particular, what was his?
So he wanted the cash immediately. He wanted everything out. And I'm just sharing with you what I do now versus what I did at that point. Because at that point, I just came up with I think it was like 50,000 that I had to put down,
sure,
and then just get the deal done and do it. Because he went down on the price. But normally you can get a lower price if you're able to, negotiate and say, okay, I'm going to pay, I'm going to pay you in full. You're going to get the 50,000 plus whatever the bank is willing to lend and everything. But normally in that type of scenario, like I was just describing, that depends on whether, like, hey, you're going to get most of it up front, but then you have a side income that's coming in,
sure,
and so you get a lump sum, but then you also get a monthly.
Plus, I think it's better. Yeah, and they don't have to pay taxes on like a hit. Right. And the income and the interest is actually calculated differently than taxes.
Right.
So he's better off getting an interest payment than an income payment.
Right.
So do you mind telling us about the terms of the seller financing piece?
Yeah. So normally for the seller carryback, you never know. Okay, so you have to ask, because if you don't ask, you don't know.
Like,
right?
You ask them, like, hey, what terms would you like?
No. I mean, ideally, like, you don't have an option here. This is what it is. No. So ideally, I like to just ask for the best case scenario on my end to see where they're at, because you never know. Maybe for them it works out too. So I would do like 0% and break it out to 2 years, 3 years.
Amortized.
No, just 0%.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing: the beauty about real estate is that you can pretty much handle it or place the terms how you best, how best.
Structure however it works for everybody.
Right, and so that's the beauty of it, and you don't really know until you talk to the seller and you see where they're at in this whole process. And so with this particular person, 0% and just break it out into payments. Like if I owe the guy $50,000 and I want to do a 2-year agreement, that every month I'll pay down that $50,000
in equal increments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then see what he says. Because it's all about just, hey, where are you at? Like, would you do this? No. Okay, then let's take it up a notch.
Sure.
What if we do this? And then just, go from there. But if you want to get real technical with it and actually treat him like a bank, and he wants actual interest in doing that for you, which is common. I mean, if I were an owner, I'd probably be like, well, what else is there?
Did that seller ask you for down payments?
I ended up doing conventional financing with him in that scenario. Just the bank ended up paying him completely.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. So you never actually went through with the no?
I didn't go through with the no.
You didn't
but
have to.
Right. Because it all just ended up working out. But at the same time, what I'm trying to get at is trying not to put in your own money into a deal if you don't necessarily have to. Because after he turned that option down because he just wanted the money, he was in a very particular situation where he needed all of it, you know, for him to be happy. I went towards a line of credit and got that amount down. And so I still am good without having to pay out of my own pocket, because whatever the monthly note is in the bank and in the line of credit, it'll all get paid off with the note or with the income of the property.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, so I mean, this strategy is like, you know, not coming in out of pocket, less cash flow because you have the 2 liens.
Right.
Way down the line is where, and it's going to slowly appreciate while you're not even paying any money out of pocket.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So then you could season the rents, you could fix it up, and then maybe cash out of it, actually get money back. So not only do you not put money in, but you actually get money back with the appreciation.
Right, right. Exactly.
So tell us a little about like what, so you did all your due diligence. We've got the potential seller financing ready to go. We've got our bank financing ready to go. Tell us about how do you handle your inspection as far as the building? Do you bring a contractor out there? Do you have him drop a scope of work? Or do you renegotiate? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, so I work with an inspection company that I've done several deals with, and they come out and do a thorough inspection of the property. And, you know, they look in the crawl space in the attic. They do a rundown of exactly what could potentially be wrong with the property or whatnot. And so I have my crew with me. I come with the inspector, I come with the property manager, and I walk in there and we all just inspect it together, just to make sure that, you know, we know what we're getting into.
Now, do you have an inspection after that, or is this the time where you're like, oh, you know, looking at all the plumbing fixtures, making sure everything works?
Yeah, it's the first step in making sure that this property is what they say it is, and it's got potential. You know, obviously the inspector afterwards says, hey, red flag, there's this, which he did. I mean, the HVACs, the little units that each unit had were a little old. And so he said, okay, you know, separate for that, which, you know, it's obvious. You need to have a reserve for your properties, and just kind of together going through it. And I'm a collaborator. I like to get people's feedback and work together with people. And so after we toured the building and saw everything, you know, we got together. Okay, well, what are the pros? What are the cons? What do we need to fix immediately? What is not so necessary to fix? And then just go from there.
Right. So basically you put aside some funds for, you know, CapEx for the next 5 to 10 years. Could be your ACs or your roof or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's very smart. There's actually an acronym that that's just stuck with me and I like to go by. So it's TIMMUR, TIMMUR. And so this acronym is important where you look at the property, because you want to take into consideration your taxes, your insurance, your utilities if you have to pay any, and your management, which I highly recommend if you're trying to build self-sustaining assets, so your manager can handle all the ins and outs of your building. And then the other M, maintenance, you know, for things that breaks down, plumbing, roof leaks, whatever it is, and then R, which is what you were talking about, reserves. And I think that is key, you know, along with paying all your expenses once your rent income come in, just separating a little bit for that, so you have some cushion whenever, you know, an issue arises.
Okay.
And you can't get insurance claims.
So did you have an appraisal on the property?
Yes, I did.
Did that land on your mark, or did it land higher?
Nope, it landed
Right
on. And I believe that they did an income approach on the property, where they take the income of what it was generating to gather what it would be worth, and so that wasn't completely fair, because the owner was charging again for the cable, the internet, so like, he was paying all of that, and then their rent. You know what I mean?
On that note, a lot of people don't realize that, but when you're analyzing commercial or multifamily and they're appraising it, it's not the value of what it is now.
Right.
So if you're not managing it and you're not adding the rents to what they need to be, it's going to be a low appraisal, and that's the seller's fault. A lot of times sellers, they don't realize that, like, they're devaluing their property. A bank is only going to lend on what the current condition and value is, not what you're going to make it.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to refinance out of it.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, that's why, a lot of them had to go. And there was a lot of evictions and a lot of cleaning up to do. And so, at that point, you start fresh and you get your rents going. And I mean, thankfully now it's doubled in that, I haven't done an appraisal on it yet, but the rents have doubled.
Sure.
So
on your contract, how long was your due diligence period?
On my contract, it was 90 days due diligence.
90 due diligence, wow.
90.
And how long did you have to close after that?
30 days.
Okay, so it was a 90-30.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you need the whole 90 days?
No, but it was good to put that out there to see what, the more time the better.
Now, do you try to market the property while you have it under contract just to see and get feedback from other people? Maybe somebody wants this for X and I can walk away?
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of real estate. There's so many avenues, so many exit strategies.
You can work your exit strategies before you close on the property.
Oh, yeah, totally. I think it's smart that you do. You have to have different ways to come out if you need to.
For sure.
Even if financing doesn't work out at the last minute, which is funny because I just had a situation where financing just changes out of nowhere. Because, you have different opportunities coming up, different circumstances. Like, it just happens where your financing just kind of goes up and down. But yeah, I mean, you definitely want to aim for a higher, for a long time frame if need be. I probably took maybe 60 days or so, just to get everything lined up and to make sure he wasn't lying more than what was told.
So after that, you finally closed.
Yeah.
And you closed on with a conventional loan.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about what was your process for the first 3 months of getting it where it needs to be?
Man.
Or 6 months. Walk me through you're finally closed on it, now it's yours.
Yeah.
What do you do now?
Yeah. Well, a lot of it had to be, right actually in the due diligence period too, was figuring out what exactly could these units rent for accurately.
Sure.
Because I will say, because of the location of this building, it's in a great location. And it's got, 2 stories, 2 bedroom, 1 bath each unit, and they're nice units. And so, to my surprise, they were renting out at a higher rate than most. And so I was like, well, that's great.
Do you think that's including some utilities?
It included water, which is what we paid for, and so I think that may be, plus. But I think more than anything is the fact that there's a lot of shops around there, that Walmart's right along the corner, gas filling stations and things like that. That's always a plus.
Sure.
But anyway, just coming to that conclusion of okay, 850 is a good number, is where we're gonna be, and without having to pay for their electric bill or their cable or their internet or their pet fee. So starting off clean like that, we were able to get rid of everybody. And I don't mean get rid like that, but you're a new owner, so you walk in, you're like, hey, this is these are the new terms.
Right, they could so they could sign the new lease, or they could have the choice to vacate.
Yes, exactly. And then some just say, hey, we got a new owner, I don't have to pay rent. It's crazy how people think, right?
Oh, I know.
It's like, new owner, you pay nothing.
All too well. Oh, but so many times they're like, oh yeah, but the last owner didn't do that. I'm like,
right.
Doesn't.
Oh yeah.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, totally. And then complaining, a lot of people complaining, it's just not. It's not fun. It doesn't make your job easier.
Right. So you got some tenants out, you got some tenants in, kept some people, did a few evictions. Did you have any repairs to do before people moved in? Did you fix up units?
There was
every
leaks.
Unit? Oh, okay.
It was interesting because some of them had leaks, some of them had holes in the walls. It was a lot of different things that we saw at first, but we didn't know the depth of how bad this really was.
Right.
And so a lot of money was put into it just to repair the things that, the tenants were having issues with. And also when they vacated, you had to make sure that the property was at a good standard, for the next tenant.
And I'm assuming that you have reserves saved up already for expenses right away, because you close on a property right away, you don't get income right away. You have to have that aside. So
definitely.
You saved up. So were you able to negotiate something down on the price at all because of the work that you were?
Totally.
Okay, awesome.
Yes, of course. And so that was applied to any repairs and any of the things that I needed
I
to
forgot
get
to ask you that. So perfect. So we negotiated down for repairs.
Yes, totally.
Okay, so how long have you had it now?
I have had it for about 3 years.
So is it? Do you think it's fully seasoned at this point?
I think it's definitely getting there. Like I said, that commercial building can definitely be broken up into segments and make more money off of that potentially. But I think where this building is, rental income, like residential, I think that's where the sweet spot.
So you're basically holding on to that commercial piece for a little bit now.
For a bit. I mean, I'm willing to sell. I have, I'll entertain an offer for sure.
Now, is that on just the commercial piece?
That is both. That is on the whole thing comes out of units.
Well, in that case, so tell me, what cap rate did you buy it?
Probably, let's see, probably bought it at a 9.
You bought it at a 9 cap, just a good cap to make a purchase at. So what do you think it is now then?
So right now it's about an 11.
So an 11 cap, which kind of sounds crazy because you don't get those numbers.
I know, right?
So you added, you bought it, right? So you bought it at a cap. So you're looking to sell it. Are you looking to sell it at a 12 cap or 11 cap? I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would entertain an offer. I mean, it's making right now total with the commercial income and everything together, it's making about $6,700.
Okay, so we're gonna run your performers. We got $6,700 in income, monthly income.
Yep.
What do we have for expenses?
So expenses would probably be around $11,000, more or less.
Does that include your taxes and insurance?
Yes. Taxes, insurance, maintenance management.
You said 11,000?
About 11,000
a year.
11,000. Sorry.
1,100.
Yes, 11,000 a year. 11,000 a year.
Okay. Well, okay.
So we have. So
6,700 a month. What's 6,700 times 12?
Let's see. Where'd you get 6,700? Oh,
you just saw
81,000. Okay, so we're making 81,000 a year. Now you subtract vacancy because there's some turnover.
So
we'll say 77,000.
Sure.
Okay, and then you subtract the 11,000, which is the tax and insurance.
And what all expenses do you have?
So taxes, both county and city, we have about $6,000 a year. Then we have insurance, which is about another $6,000 more or less.
I can get you that cheaper.
Okay, yeah, hook me up.
Anyway.
Okay, yeah, let me know. And then so management's about $3,600
a year. So what do they pay? How much was the percent of the management?
So it's about 10%.
So you're paying 10%. Are they willing to stay in place?
Yeah, totally.
And
totally.
If somebody wants to make an offer, do you financial anything to pass on?
Sure.
Have a contract down?
Yeah, definitely.
And what terms are favorable for you? Favorable.
Slow and steady.
Thank you. What terms are best for you?
Or that.
Yeah, so what terms would you want to see somebody bring in more or less?
I'm so flexible. I'm the most flexible person. I mean, it's just because I know, because I do it too. I actually enjoy creativity with these things. So I mean, ideal like any other seller. Cash is king. It's great if you can do cash or a loan.
Sure.
But I'll be open to entertain other offers. Sure.
Fair enough. Well, y'all heard that, so we will get in touch with her about that. I might be getting in touch with you about that.
For sure.
So
where's the contract?
They're not far. So do we have any questions?
We do. Deborah would like to know, do you have a range or formula for how much cushion you like to have, or is TIMMUR your entire cushion?
Okay. Well, I will answer how I think I should based on her question, Deborah. So as far as cushion, I believe you're asking for just a rounded number, right? More or less. So I would go from like 45 to 55% of what your income is. So you let's say you're like in this scenario with my building, let's say 81,000 a year is what the income is. Well, 45% more or less. Now that could change when it's commercial. It's a little less because there's not that many expenses with commercial. But I would go around 45% of what that is and have that be your number that you can play around with from 45 to.
And that's all your and everything.
Yeah, Timur.
So does she want to know about? Does she just want to know just about like on top of that or part of that?
I think she's asking if you do Timur or if you have another cushion with Timur.
Nope, I use Timur, and I recommend using Timur all the time because you need to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
Break down Timur one more time.
Sorry?
Break down that for
Okay,
yeah,
Timur.
break down one more time.
Yeah.
Timur, T, taxes.
Taxes.
Okay, so you need to know your property taxes before you buy any property. You need to know your insurance. You need to know if there's flood insurance. You need to know what that's going to be because those are your two biggest expenses when you have a property. So taxes, insurance, then you have TIN, you have management. Okay, I recommend management highly because it's what will free you up to go and buy more deals, and then to turn this apartment building into its own business entity, and then sell that entity, and so you do it again. So anyway, so management, and now management that could range anywhere from 8% to 10% is what I've seen, or sometimes they'll even just charge a flat fee or a per door price, and so that's important if your goal is like mine to have it be self-sustained. Maintenance could be anything from a leak, plumbing repair, a faucet repair, a fence that got broken, whatever the case may be. That's good to set aside some money for that. And then your reserves is for any improvements or anything that you want to do in the future. It's good to have that. And some people say, separate $1,000 per door, just to be safe. But I mean, if you just every time your monthly rent comes in, if you just separate just a little bit towards that, I mean, you'll be fine. Especially
I don't cash out of any of my rentals. I just leave it all in there. So basically, I just build my own reserves. I don't just see a reason to, withdraw any of it.
Right.
So I mean, while you're getting your rents in, I mean, just keep the money just building in that account.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you can have your bank account be an account that earns interest. I mean, there's money market accounts now that have like 2%, 2.3.9%, 2.3, that doesn't exist, 2.39%.
Yeah, and when you are setting up any of these rentals, you want to make sure that for your bank accounts, you have your operating account and you have your escrow account.
Right.
Now, your escrow account, a lot of people don't know this, but your escrow account cannot get any interest. So, because if you get interest on an escrow account, you have to prorate it and give it to all the tenants because you're not allowed to make money off of that. So make sure if you're asking for an account, just Bank of America is where I keep mine. It's just no fees and it's no interest. So basically, it just holds your security deposits.
Right. Yeah, and that was new to me too when I first got it. That you have to have a separate account for your security deposits because a lot of people don't tell you that.
Yeah, it's illegal to code me. Like you don't want to mess with that because then there's other red flags. It's just not. It's too easy to not do. I knew about that because as an agent, our brokerages in most places have a separate escrow account. So,
right. Yeah.
And if you're a lot of people that are not agents just don't know that. So
that's
for everybody out there.
Not a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I know.
That's very rare. When I first heard about it, and I was like, oh, wow.
Cool. Well, guys, I mean, that was awesome. I mean, I feel like I've learned a ton.
It's fun.
So we are at Deal Shredders episode 3 with Lucy Aliaga.
Good job.
Yes. And we are signing off. If you have any questions, comments, please, guys, go to YouTube. You can find us on Anchor. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify, and all the socials. So y'all have a wonderful day.